execute series of tasks in the process. The first step of the process was providing shelter for the IDPs. Initially, semi-permanent shelters with cemented floors and kazan roofs were put up by the government. Subsequently, tents were put up because of the large influx of IDPs until the proper shelters are constructed. These shelters were provided with electricity, toilet and water close proximity. Then special attention was given to water and sanitation. Unfiltered water and drinking water was provided separately. Water treatment plants were built very close to the Mallathuve river, with the river flowing very next to the Manik Farm IDP center. Tube wells were also made available as an additional drinking water source for the IDPs. Providing shelters, water and toilet facilities for IDPs followed up with the providing of food and maintaining level of nutrition. IDP were provided with packaged food initially by the soldiers until the community kitchens were erected. There was a possibility of IDPs exposed into communicable diseases due to adverse weather conditions and rapid increase of the number of the IDPs. However, Central Ministry of Health, whom the services for health for IDPs were vested, successfully able to manage the need of approximately 300,000 IDPs. Then, steps were taken to reunify the IDPs with their families. Sri Lanka Army, with the help of the ICRC, initiated a small special program and, mind you, 35,000 IDPs were reunited with their families within weeks. Even with all the odds, government allowed IDPs to join their kith and kin who lived outside IDP centers with a written permission from the guardian. Ladies and gentlemen, generally the society in the north and east of Sri Lanka is truly spiritual, cultural and religious. Therefore, Hindu kovils, churches and mosques were established in all relief villages and religious leaders from the IDP community itself came forward and held the religious location. Somewhat mobile life experience by the IDPs due to LTT activities has resulted displacing most of their valuable document. Arrangement made by the competent authority with the help of the GA to establish shadow public administrative system in each relief village facilitated reissuing of important documents such as identity card, birth certificate and death certificate. Providing better education for the children is the dream of any parent. To assist to make this dream a reality, Sri Lanka Army assisted education authorities to build schools in IDP villages. And all teachers among the IDP community was re-employed at these schools. In addition to these schools, psychosocial centers were established under the name of happiness centers for children in every IDP village. It has the facilities of computers, televisions, books, drawing materials, CD players, and musical instruments. Activities at those centers resulted balancing the psychosocial aspect of the IDPs. Most of the IDPs were farmers, and they didn't have much time to work on any other profession than the farming. Therefore, steps were taken to establish vocational training centers at the IDP villages in order to give youth a chance to learn motor mechanism, sewing, computing, masonry, welding works and other professions. Few months since the arrival of first group of IDPs, the Sri Lankan Army successfully administered the reception of last group of IDPs consisting of 76,000 or more, who came on 17th May 2009, totaling approximately 300,000 in all. By this time, all related agencies, including the Sri Lanka Army, competent authority, and GA staff was prepared and geared to commence the third stage of the parallel operation, the resettlement of IDPs. Ladies and gentlemen, it was said that the resettlement and IDP is somewhat similar to that of cart following the bull. In that sense, Army almost, after a highly successful humanitarian operation to defeat LTT, commenced the truly humanitarian aspect of the operation. That is the process of resettlement, reconstruction, and reconciliation. Although it was never witnessed in anywhere in the world before, Sri Lanka Army was able to convert from a superior fighting out element to a force carrying out well-coordinated humanitarian operations to rebuild the almost totally destroyed society. This was done in a very short span of time. A force carried out largest ever rescue operation in annals of military history only a week before. Commenced the resettlement of IDPs and successfully carried out the initial stage of resettlement and reconstruction process while winning the hearts and minds of the people. This was made possible due to maintenance of high degree of discipline, dedication, and commitment of the security forces, Sri Lanka Army in particular. Resettlement process was commenced with issuing of resettlement benefit package to each IDP family at the time they go back to their original location. This package consists of series of items, some of which are flashed on the screen. Complex 30 years long war has changed the mindset of the people, and they look for assurance of safety and peace of mind when they go back to their original locations. This was assured by executing accelerated demining program spearheaded by the Sri Lanka Army together with INGOs and NGOs. Further, reactivation of public services such as AGAs and District Secretary's Office, banks and community centers, health establishments, including hospitals, education facilities, including schools, rehabilitation of irrigation systems, repairing of road network, and restoration of electric system contributed immensely to accelerate the resettlement process. Further, vocational training received at the IDP center assisted returnees to build their own houses, and resettlement allowances and agriculture subsidies together with donation promoted the livelihood of the IDPs. Simultaneously, Sri Lanka Army carried out numerous projects independently, while assisting the government authorities on reconstruction, resettlement and development projects implemented in the north and east. In the process, reactivation of government machinery in the northern areas was activated by the competent authority and ensured the resettlement and rebuilding of cleared areas. It is hard to find a record in military history where an army fought a very intense battle a few days before, opting to embrace a humanitarian task of assisting IDPs to commence their new leaf of life. But we could easily draw many lessons from this very successful operation carried out by the Sri Lanka Army. Let me elaborate one by one very briefly. Declaration of no-fire zones and concept of zero casualties developed confidence in the public, including ex-combatants, to break away from the clutches of LTT. Continuous supply of food, water and medicine to uncleared areas affirm the government genuineness to rescue people of north and east. Provision of continuous medical care and evacuation casualties from uncleared areas helped to strengthen the faith of the people on humanitarian mission. Proper directions and guidance to frontline soldiers confirm the zero casualty strategy of the government. Carrying out accurate assessment on the expected number of IDPs should be worked out and catered well in advance. It is more appropriate if appointment of competent authority for IDPs was made as early as possible. Special administration system developed by the Sri Lanka Army and the competent authority by employing all displaced government servants has made tasks more successful and convenient. Government policy on INGOs and NGOs facilitated the concentration of effort and avoid duplication. Prior study on groundwater table and catchment areas was important when planning and constructing toilets and shelter in this type of terrain. Recruiting health volunteers from IDPs to assist preventive and curative health care activities within the IDP villages. More importantly, optimum utilization of Army expertise and resources with the way for rapid and systematic administering of IDP, process which admired by many IDPs. Ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude, let me draw a few lessons on resettlement process as well. Social fabric of the district was not disturbed to avoid crowding at Vaunia, which could have developed a redundant attitude towards IDPs by the host community. Resettlement in their original places controlled the migration of people into new areas. Proper demining and mine awareness program spearheaded by the Sri Lanka Army avoided possible mine casualties. Re-establishment of local administrative services and common facilities made public administration function from day one. Use of existing administration system and the administrative structure of the security forces improved and accelerated the rate of resettlement and reconstruction activities. Utilization of civil affairs component of the Sri Lanka Army enhanced the coordinating the process of resettlement, reconstruction and reconciliation. Provision of resettlement benefit facilitated returnees to start their life almost immediately. Utilization of men, material and rations belongs to the Army, which are readily available locally, is vital for rapid execution of the resettlement process. Last but not the least, there was a reluctance by the business community to invest in the North and East at the initial stages due to lack of facilities and the infrastructure. Hence, the priority was given to social reintegration and economic reintegration at the initial stages. Thank you very much.